Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I am Jason. As always, my co-host, the voice of MMA in Utah, Mr. Zack Partridge. What up, dog?
How you doing?
Great, man. Super excited. We got a Fighter Spotlight podcast today, welcoming Mr. Carson Frei. Carson, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Nice to see you guys.
Carson, last time we talked, you just pulled off a pretty dominant and impressive win over Weston Wilson at Fierce Fighting Championship in Salt Lake City. Now you're on to like bigger and better things.
Yeah, life is pretty good, dude. Life isn't bad. Yeah, best time of my fighting career so far. Yeah.
Well, hopefully not the peak, right? The beginning of big things.
I think so. I hope so.
So why don't you talk? You just recently opened up a new gym.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you talk about your gym?
Yeah. So at the start of the pandemic, I had a falling out with my previous gym, and I just had a lot of time of seclusion, and I was training with one of my students, Joey Walker, which if you guys follow my social media, I post about him here and there.
Yep.
And we were training in my living room, and I was like, man, I just like doing this. I like coaching. I like doing my own thing. I think I just need to kind of start on the path of, just doing everything on my own. So I met some kids that were high school wrestlers at a 24-hour fitness, and they started training with me, and then it just kind of snowballed. And, I worked on a business plan with my family, and now we have a full-blown gym. So super exciting, stressful, but it's also a lot of fun.
Welcome to the life of a business owner, my man.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So it's Grit MMA, right? Is the name of the gym, and that's an acronym for. I'll let you say what the acronym is for. I have it in front of me, but I'll let you say what it is.
Grueling Resolve Innovative Technique. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, my mom came up with it, and I thought it was cool. I thought it kind of symbolizes kind of everything that I've worked, towards in my career and just martial arts journey in general.
So my question is, do you have a website?
Yeah, it's gritmmallc.com.
Can we purchase shirts off of there?
Yeah. Well,
right.
Actually, if you guys just want to send me, send me your address and stuff, I can send you guys shirts.
Then, we'll talk after. We'll talk after.
Dude, we would love to rock some Grit MMA gear down here in Salt Lake City.
We'll rock it.
Yeah, the sweatshirts are pretty comfortable. I get compliments all the time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're opening a gym, and all of a sudden your manager gives you a call and be like, "Hey, man, PFL time."
Yeah, that was the other thing. I with the pandemic, I switched management up, and I met Roman, and I'm so thankful that I met him. And I've been doing this for a bit now, and within a year, he's got me a big show opportunity. So I'm super thankful to have met him, and couldn't be more stoked.
Was your fight with Weston Wilson your first fight with Roman?
Yeah.
So it helps that you kind of like your first time with new manager, and you go and you kind of dominate. That was a clean fight.
That was, and hey, I gotta admit, I didn't know much about you when you came in there and did that to Weston, because Weston's a tough kid. I was like, okay, Carson's somebody we better keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of different things. I've been a person that's had a bunch of tools for a long time, but I think being able to do stuff on my own and piece together my own camp, and just having the right people around me, like I can do some pretty cool stuff, And I brought in my own sparring partners to kind of mimic him, and came up with the right game plan, and everything I visualized just turned out to be the case. So
it was definitely the right game plan.
Yeah.
Do you so with the PFL, I believe you're 145, right?
155.
155. So when does your season start with them?
Well, so what I'm doing is I'm doing an entry level fight called the Challenger Series.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah, it starts on March 18th. And basically, they kind of worded it. I read an article. They worded it as the American Idol of fighting. So what they're doing is they're kind of bringing in guys that are unknown, and it's kind of like a trial period. And if you have a good performance, they'll put you in the $1 million tournament. Or if you have a good performance, but they don't want to put you in the tournament, they'll put you on their forget the word, but program basically where you just fight for the PFL, but you're not in the tournament.
Gotcha.
Okay. Carson, what tell us a little bit about your background. What got you started in MMA?
So I did karate when I was little, like 5 or 6 years old, and then I continued that, and then I kind of was in those teenage years, and I don't know, my karate instructor was starting an MMA program at night, and I started doing that and kind of just dipped my feet into it, and then all of a sudden that's all I wanted to do. And so I ended up having my first fight when I was 16, and I fought on an Indian reservation against a 26-year-old.
Jorge Masvidal stuff right there.
That is.
Yeah, ended up knocking him out, and then I was pretty hooked from that point because I was got a little notoriety at school. So
So
I just
were you?
So time out. Yeah, you're still 16. You're knocking dudes out on Indian reservations.
Yeah.
So we had Steve Seiler on the podcast, who started his 60+ pro fight career. He was still in high school when he started. How do you not walk around the school just not punking everybody in the hallways?
I don't know, man. For some reason, I was still a pretty self-conscious kid at that time. I don't know.
I think my head would have been
weird in my head, but I trained super hard, and I mean, I knew I could beat people up. But that was just never really my attitude. Just to be there was one time this kid, he was talking a little trash in my PE class, and I was like, dude, you better shut up, or we're gonna go in the wrestling room right now.
You're not that guy.
and so we went into the wrestling room, and I tapped him out maybe 7 or 8 times. But anyway, that kid ended up becoming one of my best friends, and but that was one
awesome.
time I did punk somebody out. Yeah.
I mean,
that was after the fight, right?
Yeah, I had I don't know, 2 or 3 by that point.
Okay. I mean, we have a guy at our gym that he's very unassuming, right? He doesn't fight, but he's like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He goes to all the Gordon Ryan seminars and all that stuff. Very, very good and very, very tricky leg locker, but very, very good jiu-jitsu player, right? And I'm like, do your friends know that you could just strangle you could just strangle them? And he goes, no, not really. They don't even know that I really do this. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, right. And then he said once in high school, he had a football player, they were messing around. A football player tackled him, and he's like, yeah, so I just, arm drag, took his back, strangled him.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's what I mean, because I coach, several teenagers, and I was like, you guys have no idea the gift I'm giving you. It's such a
That's awesome.
I mean, it's the gift of confidence,
I wish I would have had this in high school.
You don't have to walk around and act tough. You just know. But but I had one kid that he was really kind of reluctant to train at first, and then he ended up wrestling his older brother and several of his brother's friends, and he just submitted them all. He's like, Coach, I tapped them all out. I'm like, well, yeah, dude. What do you think you've been doing?
Heck yeah.
You train, they don't.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I wish I would have done it in high school, but I probably would have had a big head. I probably would have been yeah.
Yeah, you already do have a big head. I can't even imagine Zach in high school.
Somebody in the hallway. trying to make him flinch and stuff. I was just a fat kid.
Carson, what do you know about your opponent on March 18th, Bruno Miranda? What do you know about this guy?
I know that he's a dangerous dude. You know, he's got power in his hands and comes from like a Muay Thai background. He's a little shorter and stockier, you know. I think it's going to be a really good fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he trains at Tiger Muay. I'm looking at Tapology. It looks like he's a Tiger Muay Thai guy. Right.
Yeah, he comes from a good camp. He's been around for a bit. He's been a pro longer than I have. And yeah, it's going to be a great one.
That's awesome. What is it like, you know, whatever, what does the exposure of the PFL do for you? Is like the PFL is like, boom, I made it, or is the goal still like UFC? It's like PFL to the UFC? Like what do you
for me, I mean, the exposure is nice, you know, especially from like a gym standpoint, but I'm playing for money, dude. Money's here. Yeah, that's what I'm about. I think that the PFL, the way that they're structured, I love it, and it doesn't seem like it's super political, you know. It's just like you win, you move on, or you don't, and you got the next season or whatever. Yeah.
So I do have I have a prediction. So right now, let me know if you agree, but you know the UFC is the top dog, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's like Bellator, then it's PFL. Would you agree with that? Like in popularity right now?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's fair.
So I think that the PFL will pass Bellator in the next couple of years.
I think so. I think that
as far as like the place where fighters want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling my buddy about it, and I was like, dude, I saw the PFL contract, and it's pretty nice, you know. In terms of like, if people you keep on winning and you progress, like you're living pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be intriguing to a lot of dudes, you know. I think the PFL, I think they attract like players that are more competitive, you know. I think that like per se like Bellator, you know, obviously UFC has some like top level talent, but PFL, I mean, dude, like there's a lot of guys that have gone there that are super good or come out of there and went into the UFC that are super good. From a competitive standpoint, it's you know, it's up there.
Yeah,
for sure. Cool. And I think the setting's super professional. You know how they do their marketing and
well, they're partnered with ESPN too, right?
Yeah,
so that helps.
A big thing.
Yep.
So everybody, the hot topic right now, right, is fighter pay. Everybody wants to talk about fighter pay, and they keep saying, you know, the UFC needs to do this, the UFC needs to do that. I actually think the only thing that's going to change fighter pay is when fighters decide, you know what, maybe the UFC isn't the goal. If the goal is to get paid, I'm going to go who's going to pay me the most. And then if the UFC can't get the top talent because somebody else is paying more, I promise the UFC will start paying more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if the goal turns into, over the next 5 years, if the goal turns into, I want to be in the PFL, and then if I can't get into the PFL, then I'll go to the UFC or then I'll go to Bellator. That changes things. And then the UFC has to start paying more.
I think it's inevitable, you know.
I do too.
That I don't want to say the UFC is quite a monopoly, but it's just like they're so big and so gigantic, you know.
They were a monopoly.
But MMA is booming, and not everybody's going to be able to go to the UFC, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing it with Francis Ngannou, you know, with having like some pay issues or whatever is going on there. And then you're seeing, I think in the past you saw guys like John Fitch or like some of these guys that were like kind of on the way down, and then they had scuffles with the UFC. But now in this day and age, you're seeing guys that are at the top that are having issues with pay, and that makes a big difference. And so, yeah, the more people leave and kind of compete with the UFC, that the more, you're right, the more they're gonna have to dish out.
Oh, you look like Anthony Pettis. He went straight to the PFL from the UFC. He didn't even try and renegotiate with the UFC to keep him. He just went straight to the PFL.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he's a big name, and PFL can pay him. Like, why wouldn't he do that? He already has the name and notoriety that he got from the UFC. He can bring that name and notoriety to the PFL, and if they're going to pay him, like, why not? And PFL is going to love that because it's going to bring more eyes to him.
And he's got his own fight promotion now too.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but anyways, we're super excited for you. We're happy that you got this opportunity on the in the PFL. And wait, you're fighting March 18th? 18th?
Yeah.
March 18th.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be cutting weight for my fight on March 19th, but I'll be cheering for you.
Oh, nice. How much weight you got?
Enough.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you got time.
Just like,
well, you got the weight cutting specialist working with you, right?
Yeah, I just 20 pounds. As you can see,
right.
Drinking my water, Yeah. But
do you get cranky?
About 20 pounds.
Oh, okay. That's not terrible.
No,
I've heard of worse.
Oh, yeah. We had a guy that just fought on the last Fierce card. He cut 25 pounds in 2 weeks to make weight.
Yeah, that was.
So my last fight as an amateur, I cut 25 pounds in 5 days to 125 pounds.
Oh, wow.
What? You made 125?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that I kind of held my body back for a long time, and then I hit like a growth spurt where I just got a lot thicker, and so I fought at 125. The first time I fought as an amateur, I weighed like 120 pounds, like when I was 16 or whatever. Yeah. And then I fought at 125, my last amateur fight, 135, 145, and now 155 as pro. So it's been quite the journey.
Nice.
Oh, and you hold a nice win over Zack Zane.
Yeah.
That's aged well.
Okay.
Zack Zane, Brandon Jenkins, he's fighting well.
Yeah,
Bobby McIntyre is a local pro over here, but when I beat him, he beat Nathan Stolen, Austin Springer, and Julian Erosa.
Yeah, I'm looking at his.
So that was a good win for me at the time. And then Weston Wilson was a Bellator vet.
Brian Neuro is a good win too. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, Brian Neuro was ranked number 1 in the Pacific Northwest when I beat him. Yeah, I've fought some pretty stiff competition.
You are prepared, my friend.
Hey, Carson, I'm looking at the PFL thing. How do people watch that? That's not on ESPN, right? It looks like it's on. I can't see
Fubo.
Fubo TV. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like an app or something?
I think so. I think I did download Fubo like a while ago. I forget what fights there were for, but I did download it, and I believe it's an app. I have to look into it, but Yeah.
I just another thing I just noticed is you are the main event for that fight too.
I am the main event, dude.
Awesome.
The stage is set.
Yeah.
The stage is set.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
How do you control the nerves? Like, I don't fight. Zach's the fighter out of the two of us. I don't fight. So how do you control the nerves when you're the main event and you got to wait all night to get your time in the cage?
Well, at this point, I'm a little bit more used to it, but I don't think that there's ever, quite getting used to it completely, but
yeah,
it's like, the Weston Wilson fight, I was co-main event. The fight before that, I was main event, and then, so on and so forth. I've, fought in several title fights and, local title fights that were, main event and that kind of thing. And it's definitely a different thing. A lot of times I'm the not the home party. I'm the other guys. So you're in the locker room and you're watching everybody coming back and they're losing.
Yeah. You're like,
and then and the locker room is full and then it's just quiet, before you go out. But I mean, I've been around, dude. So I'm used to that.
Heck yeah. Well, before we let you go, we got to ask, you want to give us a prediction on the fight?
I'm going to break his will.
I like it.
I love that.
That
might be the best prediction we've ever had on the podcast.
Grit MMA, baby.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I'm gonna put on the pressure, and I'm gonna break him.
I like it.
Heck yeah, man.
Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to before we let you get out of here?
Contenders Clothing and Roman Isabel. Yes. All right. Yes, sir.
I'm on it. We're on it, man.
Oh, we're all over Contenders.
Yeah, I would show you my underwear, but this is a PG podcast, so
yeah, I respect that.
Subscribe to our podcast OnlyFans, and you can see.
Oh gosh, Jason, nobody knows that.
We don't have an OnlyFans. I'm totally joking. Carson, once again, what's the website for your gym so people that are listening can check it out?
GritMMALLC.com.
Roger that.
Yeah.
All right, man. March 18th. We'll be watching for you, and we appreciate you joining us today. Take it easy, man.
See you guys. Thank you so much.
We out.